Episode 6, The Cock Barrens. Once Quentin realizes that Alice might not be fully dead, he tries to call her Niffin, but she doesn't respond. Alice had been working on a reversal spell, so if Quentin can find her Niffin, maybe he can bring her back. He ends up going to the memorial service that her parents are hosting, and while there, gets led by a figure of Alice towards her dad's locked office, where he ends up being found. Alice had asked her dad previously how to deal with hauntings after encountering the kids at the Plover house. And he has a spell that might be able to lure Alice's Niffin. This spell requires a blood relative to be honest and call forth the spirit. Alice's dad is all but set to do so until he ends up breaking his leg. Julia and Katie find a clue about the girl from 20 years ago in Hoboken, New Jersey, where a singular building has been left unscathed by a fire that raged through the area. When they get there, they find a sigil on the ground, and Julia scrapes up some of the old blood to use on a locator spell. Penny arrives in Fillery looking for some special moss for Mayakovsky, and ends up recruiting the map maker to find the location of it. Prince S of Loria comes to Fillery about the matter of getting the wellspring fixed, and proposes that him and Margot get married, and through that alliance split the wellspring 50-50 between Fillery and Loria. Margot doesn't even want to hear him out. Margot gives a resounding hell no. And in retaliation, the Lorians teleport the castle to Loria, which is all just like a gray, rocky, dreary landscape due to the fact that the wellspring is barely reaching Loria anymore. And it looks strangely phallic. Julia and Katie split up. Katie is tracking down her mom's old contacts in order to find someone to help out with Julia's situation, and Julia tracks down the girl from 40 years ago. The girl, now a woman named Dana, tells Julia that she also got pregnant and she had the baby. She can't banish Reynard anymore, but Julia can. Dana ends up luring Julia to her basement, where she then knocks her out. Since Alice's dad, Daniel, is no longer able to perform the spell, Alice's mom, Stephanie, says, "Oh fine, I'll do it." But in order for the spell to work, she needs to be honest, and let's be honest, Stephanie is a narcissist, and when she goes to do the spell, it goes badly, and by the time that she's able to bring forth some real emotions, she ends up leaving the spell saying, "I can't deal with this." And Quentin is back at square one. Margot goes to Prince S to try to fix this whole issue. After talking with Elliot, she's more willing to enter into an arranged marriage for the betterment of Fillery. But Prince S is like, "I don't even want to get married to you. You're a virgin." And Margot is like, "You don't know how wrong you are. If you think the Lorians are good in bed, you haven't met me." And let's just say Margot makes him beg and proves why she is Queen Margot. Since the castle is gone and Penny can't find him, he ends up entering into one of Margot's dreams where she passes on that they are in Loria. Penny travels to Loria, but he can't find the castle. And that's when it hits him. What if they never left? What if they're still here? The Lorians didn't teleport the castle. They just made it look like they did. Julia wakes up in Dana's basement to a weird creature that Dana says is a Haxenpaxen, a creature that emits such a strong magical odor that it shields them even from gods. This is how she's been keeping herself safe. Dana tells Julia that she needs to have this baby. Only when she's giving birth will she have the power to banish Reynard. Katie, who has been off tracking down her mother's old connections, realizes she hasn't heard from Julia in a while. She tries to contact Julia, and when Julia doesn't respond, she heads after her. Katie is able to track Julia to Dana's house and is able to get inside and rescue her. As the two go to leave Dana's house, they also take the Haxenpaxen with them. After what seems like a day of failures, Niffin Alice finally decides to show up. And she says, "Oh, the reason I didn't come earlier is because I didn't want to." And Niffin Alice isn't dead. the Keiko demon wasn't able to take her out. Instead, it trapped her inside Quentin's body. Without the Hacks and Paxton around, Reynard is able to find Dana. R.I.P. Dana. After finding out that they aren't in Loria, Margot is livid and declares war on Loria.